Alright, hi there, my name is uVideo, and this is going to be my GDQ submission for New Super Luigi U 100%. I've been running this game for about 3 years now. I started on the Switch version of the game, and about 3 months ago I switched over to the Wii U version of the game, which is the original release. There are a lot of differences between versions, so I'll be talking about that more as the run goes on. But before I start the run, I just wanted to quickly explain, one, what is New Super Luigi U, because a lot of people aren't very familiar with this game, and two, what is 100%. So Luigi U is the downloadable content for New Super Mario Bros. U, and it features the same world map, the same boss fights, but every level has been changed. The levels are much shorter, and they all feature a 100-second time limit, and in addition to that, they don't feature any checkpoints, so you have to do them all in one go. As a speedrun, this game is much shorter and faster paced than New Super Mario Bros. U. The 100% world record is more than an hour shorter than Mario U. So speaking of 100%, what is 100%? So 100%, you'll see I have these 5 stars on my completed files here. And the objective as 100% is just to get 5 stars on your file. And so each star comes from completing a different objective. The first one is from beating Bowser. The second one is from getting all exits in the game. And I specify all exits and not just completing every level, because some levels have 2 exits. And so I have to get both of them. The third one comes from getting all 3 of what's called the star coins in every level through World 8. So every level features 3 big coins called star coins, and that's kind of the main gimmick of 100%. Number 4 comes from getting all the star coins in World 9, which is like the post-game world, and then number 5 comes from doing all 7 of what's called the Nabbit chases, and I'll explain Nabbit chases once I do the first one. It'll be very early on into the run. So yeah, with that being said, let's just get right into the run.
Oh yeah!
In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Woohoo!
So the actual timing will start here when Luigi moves on the world map to 1-1.
Let's go!
And let's just get right into it. So this first star coin, I'm actually going to use a ground pound to gain some extra height there. And that gives me just enough height to get on the platform and grab the star coin. And now I have my acorn power-up, and this power-up is super important. So I'm going to do something weird here. It might seem really weird that I slowed down, but I needed to make sure to not get a 77 on the timer at the end, because 77 gives you an extra animation called fireworks. Fireworks are in a lot of Mario games, but they're very long. In this game, it takes about 17 seconds to get fireworks at the end of the level, so I don't want to be getting double digits on the timer whenever I finish. Here I'm going to grab my first star. The star increases your speed, so even though it takes some time to grab it, and, like, to go out of your way, it's very worth it. Okay, well, I messed up a little bit, but it's fine. And here I'm going to be getting my first secret exit of the run. I mentioned that some levels have multiple exits. And yeah, here's the first secret one. I actually barely avoided getting 66 on the clock there, so I took that a little bit risky, but that's okay. And I also mentioned that I needed to get all 3 star coins in every level, right? So you might have noticed I only got 2 star coins there. Well, if you have to do multiple exits in the same level, you can actually just divide up the star coins. So I got number 2 and number 3 there while I do the secret exit. And then like an hour from now, I'm going to come back and do the normal exit in that level, and that's when I'm going to get the first star coin. So, very important thing coming up. I've been playing as Luigi, but now I'm going to actually introduce the second character you can play as. By holding ZL when you enter the level, you can actually play as this dude, Nabbit. And the big difference between Luigi and Nabbit is that Nabbit cannot take damage. He can still die, but he can't take damage. So if I fall into a pit, yes, I would die. But yeah, like, this fish does not hurt him. None of the fish in this level hurt him, actually. No enemies do. And so basically, this entire run, I'm just going to be choosing, you know, which character is more worth it for the level, Luigi or Nabbit, right? And a lot of people are like, well, why wouldn't you just use Nabbit for every level? Like, if you can't take damage, like, why would you not just always use it? Well, and the big reason for that is because you saw me grab that acorn power-up in the first level, and that's the reason. That acorn power-up allows you to do a lot of different moves that you don't have access to as Nabbit. So, for example, you can glide to, like, slow down how fast you fall towards the ground. You can do a big jump called a spin jump, which is the height of, like, a triple jump as a normal Luigi. You can do a fly into the air. I'm probably leaving something out, but those are all the ones I can think of right now. These text boxes right here are about Nintendo's Miiverse, which no longer exists. It is possible to skip these text boxes in New Super Mario Bros. U, but not New Super Luigi U, because there was a version of Mario U that was released before the Miiverse existed, but Luigi U came out after the Miiverse existed, so you can't skip the text boxes. This would actually be a good time to mention the Switch version of the game. In the Switch version of the game, those text boxes are not present. And I'll actually talk a little bit more about the Switch version of the game after this level. But as for 5-1, this is a really cool one, so I want to talk about it. 5-1 features these vines, and what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to go neutral on the D-pad after jumping off of some of these vines. And the reason that's important is because the game caps your speed if you're holding left or right on the D-pad for how fast you can go, but if you just let go of it, you'll actually keep the increased speed. Oh, that's okay. Other really big thing here, you can use shells to grab star coins for you. That is used a lot during the 100% run, and it's used twice during this level. Other really cool thing, that increased speed, you can chain it off enemies, so I can keep my increased vine speed for longer, and then knock that shell into the last star coin and we're done. Alright, so I mentioned one of the stars that you get for 100% is for doing all of what's called the Nabbit chases. So the reason we kind of book it to World 5 at the start of this run is because by completing the level 5-1, you trigger this cutscene right here, which starts the first Nabbit chase. And the reason I wanted to talk about the Switch version of this game is because on the Switch version, the way you switch to Nabbit is different. You don't just hold ZL to enter the level as him. You actually like switch to him and it shows Nabbit on the world map. He's not just like an Easter egg. And so since it shows Nabbit like on the world map, this cutscene actually won't play on the on the world map if you beat 5-1 as Nabbit on the Switch version. It just doesn't play it. It's really interesting. Unfortunately, there's no way to skip it on the Wii U version though. So here's our first Nabbit chase. It's pretty simple. You just have to grab Nabbit. Here I'm actually going to slide down a slope. Sliding down slopes increases your speed. That is used like everywhere in this game, so I just thought I should mention it now. And for every Nabbit chase you do, you get a P acorn as a reward. A P acorn lets you do infinite flies with the acorn. Normally you're limited to only one before you touch the ground again. But yeah, it lets you do infinite flies. So yeah, we only shot back to World 1 just to do that Nabbit chase, just to get the sequence of the Nabbit chases going, because once you do that one, then he starts to appear in the other worlds. So this level's a pretty standard one, honestly. Not too much to be said here. This level is on a cycle. There's actually like multiple ways you can do this level that are all the same speed because you have to wait for that last star coin anyway. But yeah, not too much going on there.
Phew, made it. Whoa.
So one thing I do want to mention while I get this second exit in 5-2 is that, what do you call it? You're going to see in about 10 minutes from now, I'm going to pass by 5-2 again. And so it might seem weird, like why would I go out of my way to do it now when I'm just going to pass by it again later? Like why would I do that extra movement on the world map when I'm just going to pass by it again later? And the answer to that question will actually be answered really soon after the level 5-3. By the way, this is another level where I barely get a 78. Those levels where you barely miss getting the double digits are always a little bit scary, but I'm pretty used to doing them, so it's not too bad. And I should mention that if I am to get a 77 in any level, it's not the end of the world, because even though it does lose 17 seconds to get that fireworks fanfare, I will actually get an extra acorn in my inventory. That's the reward for getting fireworks, which is kind of convenient. It's only for 77 though, so if I get like 66 or something, that's not how it goes. You get like other items depending on the number. Except I actually lied, because right here I'm going to get 77, but I don't get fireworks. Because here's the thing, you can't get fireworks as Nabbit, so that's another advantage to playing as Nabbit. You cannot get fireworks. So, this is the reason I did 5-2 both exits right now. 3 levels after you catch Nabbit initially, he appears in 5-1. So by triggering that cutscene right here, that cutscene plays immediately, and if I were to just do 5-3 and then do this level, and then go like to the next section of the run, there would be a whole fade out sequence, and then that cutscene would play, and then there'd be another fade out, and it's like 3 seconds slower. So yeah, here you see the P acorn allows you to do as many flies as you want. Makes this level pretty trivial. Unfortunately, we have a very limited number of PA coins, so we don't get to use it that many times during the run. There are 3 levels we do with PA coin. There's a 4th, like, optional one that you can do, but I don't do it. I find it harder to do with PA coin, and it's just simply slower. So yeah, that's our first... Is that our first boss fight? Yeah, that's our first boss fight of the run. That is pretty standard boss fight. A lot of these boss fights are super easy. I'll point out the hard ones, but most of them are pretty easy. So now we're going into the Haunted Forest. In my opinion, this is actually one of the scarier parts of the run. This used to be in the old 100% route, the one that the current world record uses actually. These levels used to be like 2 hours into the run, but the whole thing was rerouted, for reasons I'll kind of get into later, but the whole thing was rerouted, and just conveniently, these levels end up getting pushed to basically the beginning of the run, which is really nice. Means you get to have some of the hard stuff out of the way really early on. So here I'm going to grab another star. Fun fact about this star is that it literally saves like a small fraction of a second to grab it. Like I could have just done the level without a star and it would be like almost the same speed, but you know, I'll go for that tiny little time save, why not? Not too hard. And then again, 5 Ghost House is a level where there are 2 exits. I'll be doing the next one in a few minutes. And so I'll grab that last coin during my next visit. Alright, I am going to be silent during this level. There's not much to say other than that this is just one of the hardest levels of the run, and I have to do 2 exits here.
Phew, made it.
If you'll look at the background here, you'll actually notice that it's the same as my splits background. I quite like the background in this level, so I put it in my splits. I think it's pretty.
Let's go.
It's a reference to the Starry Night painting. Alright, here's where it gets hard because I have to collect all the star coins now. If I were to mess up during the first exit, I could actually just go back and get this star coin. And then do this exit right now, like as a backup, and not lose any time. Which is really cool. That is the one ability of the acorn I forgot to mention. You can cling onto walls for like quite a while. Like normal Luigi would just slip off the wall, but acorn you can actually cling onto the walls. You don't see that used super often, but that is definitely one really good application of it.
Let's go.
Alright, coming up is definitely the hardest level of the run. I am very nervous for this one. You made it! So, it might seem a little bit counterintuitive to like do the easier exit first when I'm doing a level that has multiple exits. But the advantage to doing the easy one first and getting it out of the way is that if I happen to make like a tragic mistake in the second exit where I think I'm going to die, I can always just pause and quit out of the level because I've already completed it. So yeah, there are multiple like scary parts of this exit where it's very easy to die, and so you know, in a no reset, of course, like it's nice that I've done that other exit first because then I can always just quit and save myself. And quitting out of a level is honestly, in most cases, quite a bit faster than taking the death.
Let's go.
That... well... now you get to see how fast quitting out of a level is. It's okay. So now I'm gonna do the second exit of 5-Ghost House. Not too much to be said here. That's okay. Yeah, I only lost like 10 seconds from like re-entering that level, I'm pretty sure. It wasn't a big deal. Alright, so that secret path is going to take us to our next secret level of the game. I kind of glossed over it in World 1, but we took a secret path to World 5, right? And now we're doing one to World 7. So this one's an auto-scroller, so there's not honestly a ton to say about this level. The one interesting thing, though, is, like, I have this haunted forest section of the run routed out in such a way that if I am to take damage while I'm doing the second exit in 5-4, the Starry Night level, it's not really a big deal, because right after that I do a couple Nabbit levels, so it doesn't matter that I took damage. And then I do this level, and I can always get my acorn back in this level. This level is a great level for getting your acorn back. So it's nice in that sense that I don't have to worry, really, if I take damage. That is kind of convenient. I guess the one interesting thing here, you can't just hug the right side of the screen to hit that flagpole optimally. You have to kind of time it. I was actually a tad late, but that was probably still faster than hugging the right side of the screen. Alright, and now we're heading into World 7, except we're actually not. I'm going to go into World 7, and then I'm going to shoot back to the start of World 5. Because we still have more stuff to do. We gotta complete every level, we gotta get every star coin, and we gotta do every Nabbit. So we're gonna do the next Nabbit right now. This one is probably the easiest Nabbit. This vine right here makes it really easy to get ahead of him, and then all you have to do is just, like, hold back a little and you'll grab him. I guess I didn't even really mention this, but I did that entire Haunted Forest section without a backup acorn. In a marathon, I might, like, opt to get fireworks in one of those levels, you know, where I said I could get a 77 and get a backup acorn, just to, like, make sure I, you know, get through the Haunted Forest. I guess I didn't really think about that, but it didn't end up mattering. So this is a new strat. Oh. So we used to do this level as Luigi. That's okay. But it ends up being faster to do this as Nabbit, because one, it is possible to get a 77 here if you're really fast, and as Luigi, you would have to wait, you know, for the 77 to change into a 76. As Nabbit, you can just go for it. But the other thing that Nabbit has an advantage in is that when you hit that flagpole, there's like an animation of your character jumping off the flagpole, and for whatever reason, Nabbit saves like 0.4 seconds over doing it as Luigi. I don't know why, there's like no reason for it, but Nabbit's just faster, so if you can do it in a level as the same speed as either character, Nabbit is preferable. Oh. That's okay. This is just another good example of a level where Luigi's, like, spin jump is really useful, and ability to glide. Just to showcase that, Nabbit's ability to not take damage is not always the most important thing in the speedrun. Alright, 5 Castles are a really cool level. So this is one of the few levels where I'm actually going to grab the star coins out of order. I'm going to try to grab this third star coin before I grab the second one, because I have to wait for the second one anyway. Well, I was going to do that. This might be a little weird. Well, that's too bad. That's okay. I already have a backup for this, so it's no big deal. And here I can do the same thing I did in 5-1. Okay, I was gonna go for that third star point, because, like, I have to wait for this lava to move. Oh. Yeah, I have to wait for that lava to move for the second star coin, so I can actually just grab the third one while I'm waiting. It only saves a small amount of time, though. No big deal. And then, yeah, I was doing the same thing there on those chains that I did on the vines in 5-1, where I go neutral on the vines because, you know, if I'm holding right or left, it caps your speed at a certain amount. But going neutral just allows you to keep that faster vine speed. Okay, let's see if I get this. Oh, okay. If that boss came out of the left pipe there's a 50-50 chance he'll come out of the left pipe, and if he did, I can actually get a fast hit on him, which is about 4 seconds faster than if he comes out of the other pipe. But that's okay, not a big deal. And then how far this guy travels in the shell is also random. So that's actually why I have a separate split for this boss, is just because there's so much randomness involved on it. Alright, so we pretty much cleared out World 5. There's actually one World 5 level left, but we'll do that at pretty much the end of the run, just because it works out better that way. Well, and actually because we don't have access to it right now. You have to be either World 3 or World 4 to unlock that level. So 6-1's a pretty standard level, but it does actually feature basically like a good showcase of the spin that you can do, or I guess it's called the twirl, as Nabbit. As Luigi, I can't do this because if I press ZR, I just fly into the air if I have Acorn. But as Nabbit, I can do a twirl. Oh, I was trying to like show it off there, but just messed up my movement a little bit. Like that. But you can use that to delay your fall. And if you do it in just the right way, I can grab that star coin like that. And then grab that one. And that's actually a pretty more important mechanic of playing as Nabbit. That is also an advantage in some situations over Luigi. Because as Luigi, like I said, if you press ZR, you have to do the flying move. And the issue with the fly is as you're descending, you have like a lower running speed, or it's not like a lower horizontal speed. You slow down significantly. Okay, so I had to use my P Acorn here just as a backup because I died. But that's fine. So what I'm actually going to do here as my backup, I wouldn't normally do this in a run. I'm going to intentionally get a 77. And we'll get a backup Acorn. No big deal. There's so many levels in this run that you can get backup Acorns in. It's part of the reason why I think this is a great submission for a marathon run. Is that there are a ton of backups. It's not too scary to complete like a no reset run or anything. Of any category, really. And then, like, absolute worst case, I can literally just go back to the first level, 1-1, and grab another Acorn. But I generally don't end up having to do that. Alright, this level features probably the only glitch of the run. There are some hidden blocks here. And I can actually clip through them. Like, there were hidden blocks there next to those two other blocks, and I just clipped right through them by doing a fly at the right time. Most people probably wouldn't even realize that was a glitch, but it is. Or a clip, I guess. Alright, I'm glad to have made it through that level. This can definitely be a scary one because you have to do that clip. Like, if you fail it, the level can get a bit difficult. I still have to do it again, though. Because there is another exit coming up. But the nice thing about this one is, if I do end up getting hit, I've already done one exit in the level, so I can always just quit out and try again. No big deal. Alright, we got through it. That was pretty good. There's actually a faster strat you can go for there, but it's a bit risky, so I decided to go for the safe strat. Don't want to risk getting hit. And it only saves maybe 2 seconds, it's not a lot. This first boss hit here can be a little hard. But luckily I got it.
Yes, I'm a winner.
And I guess just to talk a little bit about, like, oh, nice gold, the route that I'm doing and stuff. This route in particular, it, not only do you only have one back of acorn for like the whole first half of the run optimally, but you also just happen to do the levels or where like you're mostly playing as Luigi, so you actually do have to worry about getting hit. It's really interesting how it just works out like that. So this first half of the run is definitely the more stressful part. I'm gonna wait there for 77.
Phew, made it.
I got another gold. Part of running this game is just knowing which levels like you're gonna be cutting it close with a double digit on the clock, and that is one of them. So I'm always very aware of, you know, am I gonna get a 77?
Let's go.
And now we got our next auto scroller. This one actually doesn't start till you touch those light blocks right there, so I want to touch those as soon as possible. But then after that, it's just an auto scroller. But you know, that makes this game good for like a marathon, I would say. It does have auto scrollers, but none of the auto scrollers are very long. You're gonna see the longest one is only about a minute. And, you know, has a few longer cutscenes. So it's like a good mix of, like, fast pace mixed with, like, the occasional downtime for, you know, GDQ donation reading. I think that is a great thing. So this would obviously be a great time for that sort of thing. Here I'm going to do what's called a pipe kick. I'm actually going to spam the B button while exiting that pipe to try to do a wall kick off of it, because wall kicks immediately get you to full speed. I didn't quite get it, but there will be plenty more chances to show that off throughout the run. And that's just a good thing to know how to do if you run this game.
Let's go.
6-5 is yet another level with multiple exits, so I'm going to be dividing up the start points here again. One small optimization I can do is on these platforms that are moving to the right, I'm going to try to go on them as they're moving to the right, because it'll give me a small speed boost. if I had gotten hit during any of the previous levels, this next level is where I would have been getting a backup acorn, because there's a pretty quick one you can do here. But luckily I don't need to do that.
Let's go.
We're actually in pretty good shape so far. And I just have a little setup for when to do my fly there, or do my jump there, so I can get the star coin. This secret exit, I don't know how you were meant to find this casually. There's a couple secret exits like that, and I'll point them out as the run goes on. How are we supposed to find that? I had to look that one up. Alright, 6 Tower 2 is one of my favorite levels of this run. And I'll just let it speak for itself, honestly. Oh, whoops. That was supposed to be a normal jump, but that was pretty good. I just realized I have my chat thing on screen, so I'm just gonna move it off. There we go. Alright, nice. So if you are fast enough there, you can get a quick hit on that bot. If you don't get that, you have to wait about 3 more seconds before he's vulnerable again. But, you know, if I don't miss it, it's not a big deal. And the reason I'm able to get that quick hit, actually, is because I do something called a fast acceleration, and I haven't talked about this yet. So basically, at the start of most levels that I do as Luigi, at least like the horizontal ones, I'm going to do what's called a fast acceleration, where I jump and then do a quick glide in order to immediately reach full speed. Because when you glide, you immediately gain full speed. So you'll see me do it right here. Just like that. And that lets you accelerate faster. It's used basically everywhere, and I kind of hadn't talked about it till now, but it's very important. Oh, that's okay. Oops. So unfortunately I'm gonna have to use my backup acorn, but that's not really that big of a deal. Oh my goodness. Yeah, so the fire bros, those enemies that are in this level, they are random. They move around randomly, they throw fireballs randomly. I'm gonna have to deal with them a few more times during the run. That was the first instance. Unfortunately, my luck wasn't so great right there. But, you know, it's just something you get used to. Throughout the run, they're really not that big of an obstacle. That one right there is probably the worst one. So here's our next auto-scroller. Except, you can actually fly ahead of it. And just conveniently, jumping from right there allows us to get the star coin. The thing is, I'm actually not skipping it. Although you can fly ahead of this, and if you use your P acorn, you can actually skip the entire thing. It's literally slower than just taking the auto-scroller, because this bone coaster travels really fast. Like, faster than Luigi can run. So there's just no reason to try to skip past it. Although it is possible if you would like to do it. The one cool thing I will be doing at the end of this level is that I'm going to use the momentum from the bone coaster to fly into the flagpole at the end. Hopefully I don't mess it up. Yeah, something like that. That was a little bit messed up, but it's fine.
You made it.
Okay, well, luckily I didn't have to go too long without having a backup.
Oh.
So, I'm gonna do 2 more nabbit catches before I complete like the first half of the run, and ideally I won't have to use either of these PA coins. If I do, it's okay. But there are 2 more levels that I would like to use PA coins for. And so I would like to use these PA coins in those levels. So I'd like to not use them as backups, is what I'm trying to say. Let's see, I can... I'm trying to think where I can get my next backup from. Yeah, I have an idea. Okay, we'll be good. This is one of the few levels that you start off by holding left. That's not really important, but I just thought I should mention. So, Six Castle is actually a really interesting level. This level only has 1 exit. But you might notice that I have 2 splits for this level. And that is because this is the only level in the run where even though there's only 1 exit, you can't get all 3 star coins in one go. It was just kind of designed like that. You're supposed to have to play through the back door and then the front door. I guess it was kind of a reference to Super Mario World. You know, like the final level of that game also has kind of the same concept. So yeah, if we could find some sort of way to do all 3 star coins in one go, that would save a lot of time, but unfortunately we don't have any way of doing that. So we're forced to play Six Castle twice, but it's okay. It's a pretty cool level. The other thing I want to mention about Six Castle is that those big blocks that you see in this level, some of them are random, so there is a little bit of RNG to this next exit especially, but it's very easy to deal with. But we'll see if I get lucky. I did not. If you're lucky, that block there is not so much in your way, but that's okay. And then at the end there, you're supposed to hit like a switch, oops, and then like wait on some blocks until you get to the end, but you can literally just glide over it. There's a lot of sections like that where I've kind of glossed over some of them maybe, but you can just glide over them as Luigi. It's pretty trivial. So now we're gonna fight our boy Roy again. I believe Roy like stays in his shell like way longer than the rest of the Koopalings for whatever reason. I'm not really sure why. It's just funny that we have to do this fight twice, and it's probably like one of the longest boss fights of the run besides Bowser. Luckily it's easy. Alright, well that completes World 6, and that's actually the first world that we've 100% completed. We've gotten all exits and all star coins. So we're going to actually get a little text box here just to confirm that. If I don't, I'm going to have to look and see what I missed, but I should be getting it. Yep. So now we actually get to move on to World 7. 7-1 is an awesome level. It does feature some RNG though. These Ice Bros are also RNG. So if I get lucky here, this guy will freeze one of those fuzzies. He did not, so I have to wait a little bit, but it wasn't a big deal. Alright, pretty good 7-1.
You made it.
And the nice thing is, if you get hit anywhere in 7-1, there's a very easy backup acorn in 7-2, and it's also very easy to like back up getting hit in 7-1. So I'm never really that worried about it. Alright, and this level is just one of the ones that it's like pretty clear you should use Nabbit for it, especially this section right here. Alright, so now we're getting into a very interesting level. 7 Towers. 7 Tower not only features more of those Fire Bro enemies, which, like I said, they're very random. So I'm gonna have to deal with that at the start of this. It also features probably one of the hardest boss fights. That's not good. That's scary. Okay, well, that is too bad. So unfortunately I won't get to show off the fast boss kill here, probably. But there's a pretty easy backup for this. So the thing about this boss fight with Kamek is there's a pattern of blocks that will spawn. You're supposed to use the blocks to like reach him to try to get a hit on him. There's a number of patterns you can get, but it's random. And the other thing is where he spawns is random. So there's a ton of randomness to this fight. This fight is in every category, including any percent. And this is the absolute biggest like run killer for any percent. It's pretty hard to make it past this without losing time. You have to basically just guess and get lucky. Unfortunately here, I don't have my acorn. So if I had an acorn, I could have more easily glided, or like to stay in the air. And then I could have maybe flown to where he was at next, if I got lucky. Oh. Yeah, and then after you hit him the second time, he always spawns in the middle and does that attack that he did there. So ideally, you know, I would have Acorn and I'd be able to just go right to the middle and hit him. Every time for the third hit. That's usually how the fight goes. So that is the one bit of consistency to this fight. Like, even though the first 2 hits are random, that third one is always consistent, which is nice. So like I said, it's not a huge deal that I got hit in that level, because there's a backup acorn in the next level. And it's a fast one, too. So just like that, I can grab the first star coin, I can grab myself another acorn, and I lose like 1 second. Really, really cool. And maybe 2 seconds. Oh, I forgot to split.
Oh, secret.
Alright, oh. I see what I did. Okay. We're good.
Let's go.
Alright, so right here, I'm gonna do a setup to do a glide. And if I do it just right, yeah, you want to do it exactly like that. Otherwise, one of those, like, pink blocks will just come out and snipe you. If I was, like, any lower there, I would have gotten sniped. But luckily, if that happens, you can just pause and exit the level and retry it. Alright, so good timing there. I got another backup acorn.
Phew, made it.
The reason I didn't go, like, towards the flagpole and then wait is because I would have triggered those pink blocks and then I would have gotten hit. So it's better to wait at the door there and then go for it. Alright, so we're on to our next Nabbit chase. This is another really easy one.
What? Oh.
Yeah. Yo. Let's go.
So if you slide on a slope and run into Nabbit, it'll stun him, and then you could just go back and grab him. Which is definitely useful in a couple of the chases.
Oh.
What?
Alright.
Oh.
This level is pretty cool. There's actually a new strat here I'm going to go for. I'll just kind of let it speak for itself, honestly. That was the strat. But it is not over yet. So right here, I'm going to do what's called a buffered glide. So I actually press B right before I land on the ground, so then as soon as I run off that platform, I'm gliding instantly, and it perfectly buffers that glide, and so I can just go right into the small open space. Alright, let's see if I can do this ending. So because I slowed down there, I'm gonna have to wait for fireworks. Oh no! Well, that's too bad. So I guess this just gets to show off, what happens when you accidentally get fireworks. And as I said, you get other items if you don't get a 77. So if you get a 66, you get a mini mushroom. There is nowhere where a mini mushroom is useful in this run. But that's okay. That's okay. Not a big deal, really. And now we are at one of the biggest RNG points of the run. Nice. So I have to get to those 2 levels right there. But it's random if this bridge will actually give me a path where I can get to those 2 levels. And that item that I get from the question block is also random. I got really lucky to get an acorn there, so I'm very happy that happened. And I'm actually going to do a bit of a slowdown there. That will prevent me from getting fireworks at the end of the level. I'm also going to throw that shell there to grab the coin for me, and then do a setup so I can do 2 big jumps and grab this star coin right out of the air. Get a high 76.
Phew, made it.
Oh, oops. And I don't do a split for this level because, it's random which order you'll do these levels in, so there's no reason to do a split for the first one. So yeah, I'm gonna have to retry here. I need that bottom one to be open. Okay, that's not bad. That was only 1 extra bridge. I mean, I've gotten 5 extra bridges before, so 1 extra really isn't that bad.
Let's go.
Each one, it kind of depends how, it depends on some factors how much time it loses. I would just say roughly 9-10 seconds per extra bridge, just to give an estimate. Right there, I was actually very careful to not get a triple jump into the flagpole there. If you do a triple jump into the flagpole, you know what? I'm going to talk about that in a second. I'll talk about that after this level, because I'm going to do a big skip right now. Okay. That is fine. That is the hardest skip of the run because if I happen to touch those blocks that were at the beginning, they're called snake blocks, those green blocks. If I touch those, then the screen starts scrolling automatically and I can't do the skip. So I have to not touch them. It's pretty hard to avoid touching them. Now back to flagpoles. Every flagpole, before I'm hitting it, I'm actually pressing left to face left before I hit it. As Luigi, that barely saves time. It saves like 2 frames, but as Nabbit, it saves like 0.3 seconds or something. So it's pretty significant. But if you get a triple jump as Nabbit, even if you hit left before hitting the flagpole, Nabbit will not face left, so you'll get the slower animation. So I never want to get a triple jump into a flagpole as Nabbit. As Luigi, it doesn't matter. I kind of glossed over 7 Castle, but I mean, it's honestly just a pretty simple cycle-based level there. Not too much going on. Alright, so the next boss fight we have is Ludwig. This guy's gimmick is he can like clone himself. And so like at the start of the fight, he like flies into the air and he creates like 3 of himself. And I don't know, you have to like guess which one is which. And there's actually a reliable way to know which one is the correct one. But we don't have to worry about that. Because we have Acorn Luigi, so we can just fly up and hit him before he does any of that. Okay, so we're going into 7-Airship. This can definitely be a scary level. So let's see how it goes. It's kind of on a cycle at the beginning, so you know, hopefully I don't get hit. But if I do happen to get hit, it is possible for me to save myself and still do the skip at the beginning, because I am going to be skipping a small auto-scroller section. And even more conveniently, there is a another acorn in the second part of the level that doesn't take too much time to get. So let's just see what happens.
Whoa!
Alright, so I got the skip, we got full star coins. Normally the way you'd do that is you'd wait on that cloud that was at the very start of the level and it like scrolls really slowly. There's no reason to do that with Acorn Luigi. You can even skip that without Acorn Luigi. It's actually not very hard. So this boss fight coming up is against Bowser Jr. And it's gonna look like I'm hitting him really slowly. Like, you might be wondering, like, why is he waiting so long to like hit him? But he is not actually vulnerable until his clown car starts moving after every time you hit him. But if I do it perfectly, you won't even see it move. So you didn't even see it move. Right there you saw it move a tiny bit, but yeah, that second hit was basically perfect. So that was a very good fight. And then right there at the end, I glide off and land on that very leftmost block because the blocks fall like left to right. And that cutscene this cutscene starts sooner if Luigi hits the ground in the previous room sooner. So by going to the left, you're on the block that falls first, and you hit the ground sooner, and this cutscene starts about a second sooner than if you were to go to your rightmost block. It's pretty cool stuff.
Ho-ho! Wow!
Alright, so now we're going into World 8. Oh, the other reason that this route in particular is the current route we use is because of 7 Airship, the level I just did. Before 7 Airship, you might have noticed there was a really long cutscene that played of like the airship coming down and all that.
Yahoo!
And normally a similar cutscene would play in the level 5 airship in World 5. That's the only World 5 level I haven't done. But by doing 7 Airship first, that cutscene actually doesn't play in 5 Airship.
Luigi!
So it's very important that we do 7 Airship first. So that's part of the reason we do later worlds earlier in the run. So this level has some RNG to it. These meteors are random, but there are like certain patterns. Like it's a set number of patterns you can get. Nothing is like really that dangerous. So there's another level where I divide up the star coins, and by doing this last star coin alone with the normal exit, usually I can get through there without getting hit. That is one of the best places to take damage though. That doesn't matter, basically. Because I do the next level as Nabbit anyway, and then the level after that I have to equip a PA coin, so it doesn't matter. Right here, this next exit that I do, I have to wait for a meteor to break some bricks that are above me, and I can potentially just get like unlucky on it, so hopefully that doesn't happen. That was actually the best pattern you can get, so that's very good. Alright, and then coming up is 8-2. This is a really neat skip that you can do with PA Corn.
Ha!
I believe the PA Corn is first in my inventory slot, but I'm just going to hesitate a little bit here on my equip so I don't accidentally equip a normal acorn and waste one. Yep, okay.
Let's go!
Here we go. Oh. I messed up a little bit, but that was fine. Alright, good.
Phew! Made it! Cha! Let's go!
This level can be a little bit scary. Like, even though you play as Nabbit, you know, Nabbit can't take damage, he could still die from lava. My PB actually has 2 deaths in this level. It's like the biggest single time loss of my PB. I almost died. I mean, there were 2 quick deaths, but yeah. Alright, that's okay. A little slow, but got through it. Alright, 8-4 is a really sick level. So this level has like a lot of different cycles going on with both platforms and these blocks that spawn in and out, basically. So if I do this correctly, it's gonna look really cool. That does suck, but I'll be okay. So I have another acorn, so it's not a big deal.
Phew! it.
Yeah, ideally I wouldn't have gotten hit there and I would have made a faster cycle. But it's fine. So now we're doing the next skip. A lot of skips going on here. This is a fun one. This is elevator skip. We're supposed to take this like big elevator platform, just controlled with like motion controls. But that's really slow. There's like 3 of them, but we don't do any of them. This last star coin here, I have to delay a little bit, and then I have to go like right under this bomb. It's kind of like scary. And then right under that shop, and get right in the door. Yeah, so that's a little bit scary, but we got through it. Alright, so we're almost done with the first half of the run. So 8 Castle's a really interesting one.
What?
This level features Bowser Jr. in the clown car trying to destroy you. And you kind of have to use his clown car and to get the first star coin, but there's also ways to like influence when it slams down. If you're good. So I've already messed up. But luckily, like, I kinda know what I'm doing. So I'll be okay. That's fine. That was a little bit bad. Lost a couple seconds, but the main thing there is just having a good feel for when he's going to slam down and being able to control that. Alright, it's time for the final boss. It's supposed to be very difficult. That's it. So that's the first phase of Bowser. The only real optimization on that fight is I landed on the very right side of that switch, and that's because in this next cutscene right here, Luigi is going to walk off to the right, but he walks very slowly. So by landing on the right side of that switch, I shorten the length of that cutscene. Because, you know, even though it takes a little bit longer to get to the right side, I'm moving at full running speed as I'm going to the right there. So it's still faster. Alright, time for Final Bowser. This is a really fun boss. Well, it's not, but it's actually killed a lot of any percent runs. But there is a bit of randomness involved on this fight. But basically the premise of it is I have to get Bowser Jr.'s clown car to hit him. And then once I do hit him, I want to get right back into the clown car. But the random part comes in with Bowser Jr. trying to steal the cart from me. Generally, I have to hit Bowser Jr. before I take back the clown car. But I don't know where he's going to be. Also, I'm going to do something here called Fireball Skip. By flying up in Bowser's face, I skip an extra fireball that he fires and save about 4 seconds. Like, okay, so yeah, he went kind of into the car there, so that was a good reaction. And now by swerving above Bowser with the clown car to keep him in the middle of the arena, I actually skip a jump on him for whatever reason. And that saves like 4 more seconds. This is a really weird fight. Alright. So that was some nice luck. This is definitely like one of the least intuitive fights of the game. But we got through it very cleanly. And we're done with the first half of the run. So now there's literally like 5 minutes of downtime. So I always used to use this to go take a bathroom break and stuff, and I'll do that in a minute, but something I haven't really got a chance to cover, and something I just want to cover, is the difference between the Wii U version and the Switch version of the game. Because there's a lot of differences. So the first big one is load times. Wii U has way faster load times, and so the Wii U world records are all faster than the Switch ones. The world record for 100% on Switch is like 12 minutes slower. And even for any percent, it's something like 30 seconds, so yeah, there's quite a big difference. But in 100% in particular, one of the biggest differences is that if you beat a level as Nabbit, it does not count that level towards 100%ing the game. So you actually have to beat every level as Luigi or one of the other characters available to you in the Switch version. The Switch version, you can also play as Toad and Toadette. That's not really a significant enough difference. So the only way you can use Nabbit in the Switch version is for levels that have multiple exits. You can use Nabbit for one of the exits, but you have to use the Luigi or Toadette or whoever for the other one. So that's part of the reason why I like running 100% on the Wii U version so much more, is because it creates a lot of room for like backups and safety, and it becomes more a run of optimization rather than a run of trying not to get hit or die, which is a lot of fun in my opinion. It's also why I think this will make a great marathon run. As you can see, like, plenty has gone wrong so far, but it's been pretty smooth sailing. There's plenty of backups, and like, you know, I'm not too stressed. I think this has been great so far, despite some of the things that have happened. So with that being said, I am going to run to the bathroom, but before I run to the bathroom, I'm going to just do something kind of funny here. Obviously, this would all be a great time for a donation meeting in a marathon. So you can actually just, like, pile all these characters up. Alright, cool. So I'm gonna let that stay there. And I am just gonna take a quick bathroom break and, you know, rehydrate, and then I'll be right back to explain the second half of the run. Alright, I'm back to my bathroom break. Yeah, we'll just end up waiting out the rest of this credits. Not too much to talk about here. you know, it's kind of nice to have that, like, little break, you know, in between first and second halves to kind of mentally prepare for what's about to happen. I guess the one thing I can say, the first half of this run is actually, like, pretty intense compared to the second half. Like I said, there's a lot of usage of Luigi, so you do have to worry about getting hit. There's not a lot of backup acorns in your inventory unless you go out of your way to get them, which loses time. But the second half is very different. The second half is more about the optimization and more about clutching out your run. The second half has more usage of Nabbit, for sure. It has more backup acorns that you don't have to go out of your way for, and it's just generally easier. So we'll see how it goes here. So I'm going to be doing the second exit in 1-2 right now. This is the one that I talked about earlier. Still haven't gotten that first star coin, but we're going to get it now. And the reason we actually save it for this exit is really interesting. So if I were to just go for the ending right here, I would get fireworks. So I basically use the first star coin as a means of slowing myself down in order to not get fireworks.
Yahoo!
And if I had gotten hit somewhere during Final Bowser, it wouldn't have mattered at all, because I have to use a PA coin right here.
Let's go!
And the reason we need a PA coin for this level is you can fly over the entire thing and skip the whole underground section. There are actually more of these kinds of skips in the game, but this is the only one we do in the run because you can do it while still grabbing all 3 star coins.
You made it!
But yeah, I love that skip. It's really awesome, and it's really easy to do. You can try it at home if you'd like. So I'm going to go for something I don't normally go for here, just because I want to show it off. So this level, you can do it as Luigi to save about 5 seconds over doing it as Nabbit. See how it goes. I just want to show it off. Oh, that's not good. Okay, so what happened there, I hit that block, which basically gives you the physics of New Super Mario Bros. U. And I haven't really talked about the difference in physics, but basically, New Super Mario Bros. U has a worse jump than Luigi U, and it has... Oh, this is dumb. Has a worse jump, and you slide around less. So I guess the sliding around less is kind of nice, but the worst jump is really bad, so you never want to hit those blocks. That was a bit of a hiccup, and that was, you know, maybe I wouldn't go for that necessarily in a marathon run. That was definitely a bit risky to go for. I just thought it would be kind of cool if I got it. This is a bit weird. It's certainly taking a while. Well, that lost a lot of time, but that's okay. We got all 3 star coins, it didn't die. As you can see, I'm not very used to playing with Mario U physics. It's very weird. Luckily, it only lasts for 1 level.
Yes, I'm a winner!
It's not a big deal that I got hit there, by the way, because there's a backup acorn coming up really soon.
Let's go!
So I can actually spin jump off these rolling hills as Nabbit to keep some increased speed from them, which is a little optimization I'll be doing. And then here at the end, I'm actually going to do a big triple jump. So to that last star coin. And I don't hold left there before the flagpole because, like I mentioned earlier, if you get a triple jump, there's no point in holding left before the flagpole. You won't turn left.
Let's go.
Yeah, so some of these levels are made pretty trivial by using Navit. Just kind of lucky that it works out that way. And normally I would use Navit for this next level, but I'm going to use Luigi because there's an acorn here. It's pretty convenient. And the second half of the run, the reason it's also a lot safer, you saw that backup acorn that I grabbed like at the start of World 1 that was on the world map? Well, oh gosh, hold on. That acorn reappears every 4 levels, I believe. Oh, that's not good. Nah, that's okay. So if I ever need a backup, I can always go back and grab that. Although, ideally I won't, but yeah, I can always just shoot to the start of World 1 and grab that acorn. It's very easy to do. So that's also part of the reason the second half is a lot more laid back. Well, that's not how I wanted that to go, but it's okay.
Phew, made it.
I still have 1 acorn, and I can get more. The other nice thing is once you get through World 2, the acorn's not even very useful anyway. Oh, I still have 2 acorns. Yeah, I'm fine. The acorn's not very useful after World 2 because it becomes more of a focus on the penguin power-up, but we'll touch more on that later. So this is one of the few levels I cannot do this one as Navit. I don't think there's any way to get that coin right there as Navit because I have to use a fly to save myself. Oh, another thing I did right there is I entered that pipe that was above me. I actually did a crouch. And by doing a crouch into an upwards pipe, because like Luigi himself is smaller while going into the pipe, the animation of him going in is shorter. Like, because there's less of Luigi to enter the pipe. So you get a shorter pipe animation. It saves about 0.3 seconds every time you do it, so I try to do that wherever I can. This guy's pretty easy, you just gotta wait around for him.
Yes, I'm a winner.
Alright, and now we have 100% completed World 1. So, just to kind of recap, we finished all of World 6, all of World 7, all of World 8, and all of World 1. So that's half of the world, sort of. Half of the world's done. And then we have all of World 5 done except for 1 level.
Yahoo!
And now we're going to do all of World 2. Alright, so as this cutscene plays right here for World 2, you're going to see that bridge right there with the acorn, the Goomba, and the Fire Bro. And that is very interesting. So every time I move on the world map, those guys move too, and they move in a random direction. So I'm going to have to cross that bridge pretty soon here, and basically hope that none of them hit me. What the? Okay, that was kind of weird. That's fine. It was just a strange thing to happen. Yeah, so very conveniently, you happen to do an even number of moves before you get to that bridge. And the reason that's significant is because it's actually impossible for any of the enemies to run into you on the very first space of the bridge when you first enter it. Which is like... What that means is that you can enter the bridge and then basically choose to go up or to the right to get past the enemies. And that'll make more sense in a second. But before we get to that point, we have 2-3. 2-3 is a really cool level. So I'm gonna grab this hidden star that's at the beginning. I have no idea how you're supposed to find this star. But, you know, we speedrunners know about it. And now, I am going to attempt to make a really tight cycle here in order to grab this first star coin. So by falling off that platform, I actually set myself up to perfectly grab the first star coin. It's a really cool strategy. The interesting thing is that this is exactly how we would do this level in categories that don't even grab the star coins. Like, it's exactly the same. Just a perfect example of how the star coins are not even out of the way in this game, but the strategies for getting them are still really cool. So Acorn Luigi drastically speeds up this level. There's certain parts where you're supposed to do more waiting around, but you can just do some flying. Because why wait around? Cut that ending a little bit tight to grab the star coin, but that was pretty good. That was pretty good. This fight can be a little bit tricky for people who are like getting into the game. The first hit on him is a little bit like weird, but I have a certain spot I aim for. It's the right side of that right window there. And I just hit him. Alright, now we're coming up on the bridge. So basically I need to do 2 more moves to get onto the bridge, right? To get onto that first spot. And if you look at like the Goomba or the Acorn, it is impossible for either of them to hit me in 2 moves. It is impossible for that Fire Bro to hit me in 2 moves. There is no way where they can immediately hit me. So with that being said, I can just go and make it through the bridge just like that. People used to actually intentionally get fireworks in a different level in order to get a star to get through that bridge, because if you use a star on the world map, then if you run into one of those enemies, it will not, like, you'll just kill the enemy on the world map. You won't have to fight it. But until we like realized how conveniently that worked out, and that you like pretty reliably can get through the bridge without getting hit, just because you know, of the way the math works out with the number of moves that the enemies do. Because those enemies don't start moving until you enter World 2, so it's very consistent how many moves like you've done up until that point. So yeah, it's just really convenient that that all works out. Also, I didn't worry about grabbing the back of Acorn there, because I think I still have another one, and I don't really need it, and I'm gonna get another one soon. So yeah, this is just another example of using my spin jump to maintain the speed of the those spinning blocks. Or the spinning hills, rather. You're supposed to use those music blocks to get to that star coin, but you can just do a tight jump as an abbot. And then even if you do a spin jump into the flagpole, if you hold left, Nabbit will still get that faster flagpole animation. I just want to mention that. That can actually be a consistent way to avoid triple jumping into it on accident, is just spin jumping instead. A lot of people do that. This is the next secret exit that I have no idea how you're supposed to find this one casually. Like who would have ever thought to just randomly ground pound it? I don't know. So this level is a little bit scary because it, again, features these enemies, the random fire bros, that, you know, they can be mean. Well, we've already dealt with the worst fire bro of the run, and that was the one on the bridge, but we got past him, no problem. That's weird. That's fine. Whoops. It's very weird. Not a big deal. You know, I still have an acorn. And yeah, once I get past, like, 4-1, I'm not necessarily worried about keeping an acorn, but there are several backups you'll get after that anyway, just from doing the route. Like, you'll see right there on the world map, there's an acorn. I can't avoid grabbing that one, so I'm going to grab that one. I'm going to get the ones from the Nabbit chases. So yeah, it's kind of nice. Like, once you get into the second half, you're not really worried about keeping your acorn. It's one of the other things that makes this really good for a marathon. You can just kind of play the levels comfortably, especially in the second half. I should also mention, like, there's a lot of levels where I normally do them as Luigi, but I know how to do them as Nabbit, like, if I need to. So, you know, there's always that as a backup. And this level, the biggest thing I can do to optimize is run on those platforms that are moving to the right. That's about it. And then trigger that platform as early as possible because I have to wait on it. So I want it to get it moving as soon as I can. That's another level that used to be done as Luigi, but you just do it as Nabbit because of that faster flagpole at the end. Alright, we're moving on to our next Nabbit grab. This is a cool one. So we're actually going to use the rolling hill to get a ton of momentum going to the right, or a ton of speed going to the right. Hello? Okay. And we're going to get way past Nabbit, and then we're going to just turn back left and grab it. And I'm not going to do a fast acceleration at the start of this because I don't want to risk hitting that Mario block. And there's no reason to anyway because you get way ahead of Nabbit right here. There's a couple levels where I don't do the fast accelerations, and it's exactly for that reason. I don't want to hit that Mario block. You saw what happened there in one tower. It was very, very slow.
What? Oh.
So yeah, we'd like to avoid that. And those Mario blocks only appear in the second half of the run because they don't appear until you beat Bowser. That star coin can be a little bit scary because you have to wait for that one platform to move down, and then you have to jump before it sinks all the way into the lava, or else you'll die. But it's not too bad once you get the timing down. So the first hit on this boss is pretty cool. You're supposed to wait for him to do this whole like sequence of like you'll see what happens. Like there's a giant pokey enemy and he's supposed to like hit the different parts of it into you or whatever. But if you're really fast here, you can barely hit him. And I should mention that if you don't hit him like, or if I were to hit him any later, he actually becomes invulnerable. So I would have just taken damage if that had happened. So you actually have to be really fast on that. And one of the ways I optimize that is by doing a ground pound like a little to the left of him, but then holding right during my ground pound. Because if you hold right during your ground pound, you actually travel like slightly to the right as you're going down. So that's one of the ways you can make that first hit easier on Morton. Alright, well, we have finished World 2. So hopefully I should get a confirmation message here that I got all the star coins.
Ho-ho! Yahoo!
And indeed I did. So next we actually get the option between doing World 3 or World 4. There's a split path here and you can do either. But it works out better to do World 4 first. Mostly because I utilize my Acorn power-up in this first level of World 4, and also because at the end of World 4 we're going to be grabbing the Penguin power-up and bringing that to World 3 to make some use of it. So it just works out better to do World 4 first. This level features these enemies called bruisers that can move around a lot, like very randomly. That's not correct. But you can kind of like influence them based on your movement. I messed up a bit. This is pretty weird. Yeah, so that's really not a big deal. Whatever. So I definitely did not do that level correctly, but like I said, it doesn't really matter after this point to have Acorn. I would have liked to have kept it through this level to utilize it in 4 Tower and 4-3, but those levels are not much slower as Nabbit at all. And after that, Acorn doesn't really matter for the rest of the run. So yeah, we're pretty much past the point where Acorn even matters. Okay, so 4-2 actually has a really cool strat at the end, and I'm hopefully going to get to show it off. So there's a really tight jump you can do here at the end. No! Dang. Oh, that's okay.
Let's go!
Also, I'm running on the right side of these mushrooms to like get a downward slope to run on, because that speeds you up a little bit. If I were to run on the left side, it makes it into an upward slope, and then it slows you down. So you don't want to do that. Alright, there's the strategy. That's a pretty cool one. Definitely a little scary, but there's no real like big risk. Like, obviously you risk dying, but it doesn't really, like, throw off the route or anything. Or it doesn't. I mean, like I said, Acorn, at this point, you know, I'm not worried about it. I'm gonna do the next level as Nabbit. And here I'm gonna use a ground pound to get more height, so I can make it up there as Nabbit. It's a pretty cool little strat. And then same here. Oh, huh. That's okay. Yeah, I mean, I kind of wish I'd gotten to show this off as Luigi, because this is a fun one as Luigi, but, you know, I just ran out of acorns, but, you know, if I were to do this again, I'm sure I could get here with more acorns. In the big scheme of things, I really didn't lose that much time. Alright, and we're through 4th tower. And like the funny thing is, after this level, I would actually get an acorn back, but I don't use it. Well, I actually might use it later on, but not for a while. Also, interesting thing I did at the start of this level, you try to jump as soon as you gain control of Nabbit, because if you just were to run right, Nabbit will like slip and slide on the ice, and it takes forever for you to gain full speed. Alright, so I gotta get through this before the key switch runs out, but that's pretty easy to do. Okay, 4-4 is actually, in my opinion, easier to do as small Luigi than having Acorn, funny enough. So I'm gonna do that. But I will actually grab another acorn in this level, but then I'm gonna immediately, like, get rid of it. So cool thing I'm gonna do right here, I'm gonna ground pound this slope to immediately get back to full speed. That's one really effective method of accelerating to full speed really fast.
Made it.
Alright, so now we've done a lot of Acorn Luigi stuff, right? Now we're finally gonna get to see a new power-up. Right after I juke out that penguin, we're gonna get to see Penguin Luigi. And this is hopefully the power-up I'm gonna be carrying through the next 2 worlds. If I, you know, mess up and get hit, there are some backups, so it'll be fine. Yeah, when belly sliding like this, you actually are traveling faster than Luigi's normal running speed. So we're going to be making use of that in some places. The other advantage is you can break through blocks like this, and that's actually required to get the 3rd star point in this level, so I need to make sure to get Penguin over there, but it's pretty easy. This level's very straightforward. They basically line it out for you how to do it with coins. Here's another attempt at a pipe kick, trying to get a wall kick off that pipe to get my acceleration instantly, which I did, so that was pretty good.
Made it.
This part of the run can all be a little scary because I have to like worry about this penguin right here and not running into him. But, you know, go through it. This level can be scary. So these platforms are all moving, and if you mess up anything, like I did there, actually, the whole level's kind of thrown off. So now I'm gonna have to just figure it out. Luckily, it's kind of easy to back up, but that was a little awkward. That wasn't too bad, though. It was about a 1 second time loss. And this is yet another level where we split up the coins. And so, of course, if anything goes wrong, like majorly wrong here, can always, you know, exit the course. Which is convenient. So these blocks in the next room, I need to like be very quick with my jumps on them, or else I won't get this coin, because they despawn. And then I duck there to get the last coin. Like I duck on that very last jump I did, because otherwise I would get a triple jump. And like I said earlier, I don't want to get a triple jump into the flagpole at the end. I want to be able to get that faster flagpole animation by turning left, and you can't turn left out of a triple jump. So it's just a good way of ensuring that I don't get that triple jump. Alright, this next level, Star Coin number 1 has a really cool strategy. As Nabbit, like, there's certain enemies and stuff that you can interact with that even though you don't take damage from them, they give you like a knockback. And one of them is icicles, and I'm actually going to use that property to boost myself up to the Star Coin. Like, oh, well, normally it would boost you all the way up there. That's okay though. Oh. That's okay. I still kind of got to show off what I was talking about. Alright, well, we have cleared out all the World 4 levels except for the final castle, so we're going to head over there. Of course, I have to be wary of those penguins on the world map, so I am going to stall a little bit on the world map in order to not run into them. And just go in between them like that. So this level's really cool. This one, in my opinion, kind of reminds me of those, like, keep running Mario Maker levels. Oh. And it's also cool that, like, the star coins are not very out of your way in this level. I especially love the levels like that. I don't know, there's just something so fun about them being so fast-paced. Oh. That was a little weird. Okay, and then this boss coming up is Wendy. And the significant thing about Wendy is, when she pops out of her shell is like a little bit random. As far as we know, it's random anyway. I don't know of a way to control it. So I'm basically just gonna jump up at a certain time and then kind of react to where she pops out. That's basically the best you can do. For this category, it's usually not like a big deal to mess up one of the hits. But for like, there's another category, All Castles, that's about an hour long, and that one's a lot closer to being optimized. And so yeah, for that category, like, you do not want to miss hits on this boss. You don't want to lose like multiple seconds here. Yeah, okay. That was good. That was good. Good reactions. She popped out kind of late on the second hit and kind of early on the last one. Okay. Well, we actually have one last thing to do in World 4, and that is to grab the Nabbit. We used to actually do that level where we grabbed the penguin suit. We used to actually do that level after Nabbit, but we realized even though it creates a little bit of extra world map movement, it's faster to do it earlier in World 4 because you can use the penguin suit on the Nabbit chase to save several seconds. So that's what I'm going to be doing here. Well, I hesitated a little there. I thought I was going to run into the penguin. Alright. Let's see how this goes. Oh, what? I am just going to try that again. That was strange. You get 3 tries on these Nabbit chases before he moves, but if I fail it a second time, I can always just save and then keep retrying it. In the post game, you have the ability to save whenever you want. There we go. That was better. That's how that Navigrab should look. So yeah, like, you know, worst case in a marathon run, I would fail it twice and then just save and then keep retrying it, but hopefully that won't happen. It probably won't. I think I'll be okay.
Oh.
And then just wait a little bit there to not run into that penguin, and we're out of World 4. So now we're on to World 3. This is our last of the normal 8 worlds. And it's the only one that doesn't really use Acorn at all, interestingly enough. I mean, I guess you could as a backup, but this world really does not use the Acorn suit, which is really, really interesting because Luigi U speedrunning is kind of all about that Acorn suit. So it's an interesting change of pace, for sure. I have to wait right there for that geyser to move anyway, so I was kind of just killing time. Alright, so this ending of the level can be kind of tricky. Yeah, and so it's hard to bounce off that second ball there. Mostly because on the first one I got a triple jump, so I didn't want to have a triple jump going into the flagpole. So that was good. The other big advantage to Penguin's suit is that you can swim way faster with it, and so we're going to be seeing that this level. Also, for this first coin, you're supposed to complete this like little maze in the wall, but you can literally just jump up and grab it. Alright, I'm going to be quiet for this. Yeah, that's kind of too bad. Well, I messed up and got hit. It's not a big deal to lose Penguin in this level because I can get it back pretty soon. It's, you know, a bit of a time loss, but it's really not the end of the world. The tricky part about that third coin is you have to, like, throw ice balls into the urchins so that they, once you hit them with the ice balls, they turn into ice cubes, and the ice cubes start to rise, and you want those ice cubes to hit the fish. But it can be really tricky to do that without, like, freezing the fish on accident. It's pretty hard. That's one of the hardest coins. Alright, speaking of hard coins, this one I have to run onto the platform at the right time to grab that. I can't just, like, hold right there. But the rest of this level is actually pretty easy. As Luigi, this one's a lot harder, but as Nabbit, very easy. I haven't even mentioned, when I enter doors there, so I want the right side of Luigi or Nabbit to be touching the middle, like that crack in the middle of the door. And they will walk right into the door. If I'm not touching that, they'll do this slow animation of walking all the way to the middle, and then into the door. And so, wow, okay. I don't want that to happen. The doors in castles, they look exactly the same as those ones in the towers, except they're blue instead of red, but they actually have a different property. I have to actually enter them perfectly in the middle in order to get that faster door animation for whatever reason. So those are actually way harder to get perfect ones. So this is a level I would normally do as Penguin Luigi to save like 2 seconds over Nabbit, but I'm going to be doing it as Nabbit. Oh, that's fine. But yeah, this isn't really a big deal. I was very careful to enter the second pipe at the beginning here. You can enter any of them. The second type sets you up the best for getting this last star coin, although I messed it up anyway. But not a big deal. Because we'll be getting Penguin back in the next level. And if I don't, then I don't, and it's still easy to back up. But hopefully I'll get it back so I can show off the cool strats. Alright, so I'm gonna freeze this. Oh. Hold on. Okay, we're just gonna wait. I'm just gonna die and try again. I think that's my best bet. That was a very, like, weird mistake.
Bye-bye.
Okay, so I'll equip that so I can just grab another penguin suit and we'll try this again. So I'm gonna throw him and then delay a little bit to raise that geyser to push that ice block right into the coin. It's really, really cool strat. And then, wow, I just like forgot what I was doing. Okay, that's not good. Okay, that's okay. For the last coin, I'm gonna grab the shell and throw it into the coin. Well, that was honestly pretty unfortunate. And then I'll stall there to not get fireworks. Okay, well that was kind of weird. Ideally, I would have gotten Penguin Suit back at that level. So that is gonna lose quite a bit of time here at the end of the run. But mistakes happen. Alright, so we're gonna do the second exit in this level now. And I, again, missed the pole for some reason. I don't know how I did that twice. This coin actually moves away from you, but if you're quick, you can just grab it. I messed that up, though. And the secret exit is right here. Alright, and then the next secret exit's an auto-scroller, so you know, in a marathon, another good time for some donations. It's not a long one, but you know, it is an auto-scroller. This is actually the only level to run featuring Yoshi. See? Just kidding. If you enter a level as Nabbit, Yoshi will not spawn even if you make the egg spawn. For whatever reason. I guess because you can't ride on Yoshi as Nabbit. I don't know why that is, but you can't. I guess Nabbit's already easy mode. They didn't want to make it like super duper easy mode, but it's kind of a weird property of Nabbit, I would say. Oh, actually, I could get my penguin suit back in this level. I think. But it's not a backup that I practiced, really, so I'm just going to go ahead and opt for what I'm comfortable with. I think that's the best strategy. I'm a little sad that I didn't get to keep Penguin's suit, because it's kind of, I don't know, kind of the reason we have this route, but I'll still talk about why that is when it's relevant. Alright, so this part right here, I'm going to slow myself down a little bit so I don't die. So then these water spouts will just be right in front of me. And there we go. So the Nabbit chase here is much slower without Penguin suit, so unfortunately I am going to be losing a lot of time on this. I guess I'll just power up. Yeah, why not? Do I still have a pea acorn? Yeah, I'll just use my pea acorn. I mean, I could just attempt to get Penguin back here. Screw it, why not? Why not? Let's try it. Oh, this is weird. Oh. So that happens. Well, I have Penguin now. Oh, so I get to show this off at least. I didn't realize that was a property of Nabbit chases, that you can mess it up but still get your power-up that you collected. That's actually not how the rest of the game works. Okay, I have one more try here, so I'm gonna save. In case this goes wrong. I do not want Nabbit to get away. But I'm happy I got Penguin suit back, actually. This allows me to show off something really cool. Cool, that's what that's supposed to look like. Alright, cool. So, up until now, we actually only had one of those stars on our file completed, which was beat Bowser, and now we just finally, 2 hours into our 100% run, got the second one, which is catch all Nabbits. So that is done. So, we still have to finish collecting all the star coins in the 8 main worlds, getting every exit, and collecting all star coins in World 9. That's what we have left. That was a weird mistake. So normally, like, I would try to get that urchin to push me to the left, because it's one of those enemies where you can kind of get a recoil off of this Nabbit. This guy, I actually have to, like, wait there to lure him into the urchin. You can get through that urchin with just, like, forcing it with Nabbit, but it's really slow. Alright, so I'm really happy to have Penguin back, because I get to show off Penguin in this level. So this level has another underwater section that I'm going to get to use the Penguin suit for and save about 6 seconds. And then just here's an example of using that belly slide to, you know, speed myself up a little. We'll do that a couple times. That was a little awkward. I messed up some of my swims. I generally try to time those. You can just spam them, but it's more reliable to time them. And you wanna, when you do those belly slides, you wanna do jumps like right as you land on the ground. If you mess them up, you just lose all your speed, which is what happened there, but it's okay. Alright, this boss, it's very important I hit him on the left side of him on the first hit. So this is gonna be really weird, but I'm confident I can back this up. Okay, we're okay, we're okay. Okay, yeah. I knew where he was gonna pop up, I just wasn't sure where those geysers were gonna be when you know, during the whole time he was in his shell, so I had to kind of react there, but that went fine. Alright, with that, we've completely cleared out World 3, and we've actually brought Penguin Suit to the end of World 3, which is awesome. Hopefully we can still get a sub 220, we're still, you know, it's still looking like I can. So that would be really sick. And, you know, now we have finally gotten to the point where we can do this level that we saved. The last level of World 5 Airship. And, you know, normally it'd have this long cutscene play before you could enter the level, but since we already did 7 Airship, we can just enter it right away. This is probably the longest, or I think that is the longest auto-scroller of the run, so this is like a great time to read donations before like the run is, you know, about to end. Before we get right into the final world. Yeah, not too much to say on this one, honestly. I guess the one thing I can mention, these enemies right here, they're gonna like jump up and hit the ground, and if you're on the ground when they do that attack, you actually get like shocked, and you can't move for a second, so I, you know, don't want that to happen. Yeah, that's really about it. This Bowser Jr. fight coming up is also like, it's not an auto-scroller, but you do a lot of waiting around for him. So I'm just waiting around for him to shoot out these missiles, and then I will lure them into him. So as soon as he releases them, then I start swimming up there to lure them. I have actually had a run where I got like so bored during this fight that I was like zoned out, and I forgot to like start luring the next missile, and I lost like a bunch of times to it. But I think I'll never make that mistake again now that it's happened once. So the one optimization that I actually can do during this fight, after I lure the next missile into him, I'm gonna start swimming to the left and try to land on a like specific part of the ground once the fight ends. Something like that. Yeah, so that's right about where I want to land, and that's because you're gonna see right here, Nabbit will do like a tiny bit of walking before this next cutscene starts. Yeah, so that was really good. And so you want to be as close to that spot as possible, so he has like as little walking to do as possible. You want to minimize that. That's really the one real optimization of 5 Airship. Other than that, yeah, we've cleared out all 8 main worlds, and so that is our 3rd star. We got all the star coins. And all of World 9 has now been unlocked. You can complete World 9 in any order you'd like. All the levels are unlocked at any time, but we just happen to do them in order because of the way the route works out. I believe Mario U actually does them in like reverse order or something, or it's like some weird order. But yeah, the reason that the route is the way it is because the fact that I'm able to bring the penguin suit into World 9. We used to do, like, the second half of World 5 at the end of the run here after beating 5 Airship. But it's actually faster to be able to bring this penguin suit into World 9 from World 3. And that'll make sense pretty soon. Also, this level is completely trivial as an habit, because Luigi is like actually kind of hard.
Ha! Let's go!
Interesting thing about this level, you don't actually have to hit the switches, because those blocks that are falling will just hit it for you. You don't even have to worry about that. The other interesting thing, there's this spring that I'm supposed to use right now. I can actually just jump on the block and run through the spring if I time it well. I messed it up there, but it barely loses time to land on the spring. But yeah, because Nabbit can't pick up springs, if you run through it, like, he won't pick it up. He'll just run right through it and land on the block instead. As Luigi, you would actually, like, pick up the spring. It's kind of weird. Alright, and this is the big reason why this route is the route. We can use Penguin in this underwater level to save about 16 seconds. So let's see how it goes. Okay, pretty good. Nice. So we even got the fireworks skip there, which is really tight.
Phew, made it!
We barely, and when I say fireworks skip, I mean we barely avoided getting double digits on the clock. I got a very low 67 time there.
Let's go!
So I actually equipped the normal acorn here instead of the P acorn, which might seem like a weird choice. Like, why wouldn't you just use the P acorn? Like, wouldn't it make this safer and easier? But the thing is that the P acorn at the end of the level has this extra little animation after the flagpole that loses some time. So in order to avoid that, I just equip the normal acorn here if I can. I mean, I guess if I only have the P acorn left, then I would equip the P acorn, but that's not usually the case. I mean, absolute worst case, you can literally just do the rest of World 9 with Nabbit, and it doesn't even lose that much time. And I have that practice, so if I really need to do that as a backup, absolutely I can do that. Luckily, I didn't have to do that this one. Get to show up some cool Luigi strats instead. Also, that pipe up there, the loading zone for the pipe does not spawn for a while. Like, until the screen scrolls up to a certain point. And it's funny because the pipe will spawn, but the loading zone for the pipe won't spawn, and so you can't enter the pipe until the loading zone spawns. Like, you'll just bonk on it. It's kind of weird. Alright, this is a cool looking level. If I'm fast enough here, I can actually skip a little part of the intended route through it. Skip some wall jumps. Oh, that was weird. I tried to ground pound earlier than that, and it just didn't work. That's okay.
Phew, made it. Ha! Let's go.
Casually, this level right here is supposed to be one of the harder levels of the game. A lot of people even consider it like the hardest. Of course, in the speedrun, or in this speedrun, you just do it as Nabbit, but there is like a Luigi only category. And if you actually learn how to do it for that run, it's actually really easy. If you just time the beginning correctly, all these cycles work out perfectly for you to just run right through it. It's very interesting. Again, it gives me kind of the vibes of like a Mario Maker level. I think it's a great level. I might even like try to show it off as Luigi at the end of the run if I had time, like in a marathon or something, because I think it's worth a showcase. Alright, this is a cool one. So you're supposed to ride a bunch of Lakitu clouds through this level, and I'm actually going to skip one of them. And this is the one I skipped. It's slow to like leave your cloud and go get the next one and stuff, so I just waited out. And this cloud lasts long enough. Aw, man. Oh well. This cloud lasts long enough for me to make it to that next block without dying, but I died. That's okay. I still have an acorn left. We'll be okay. Yeah, I don't even need another acorn at this point in the run. But that's fine. I don't know about a sub 920. I think it's going to be really close. Or a sub 220, I mean. For this run. I think it'll be close. Yeah, so just like that, you can skip one of the clouds. And then I try to jump off that cloud as early as I can, because once you're out of the cloud, you travel a little bit faster. I played it a little safe there. Oh, I can still get 219. Alright, I'm going to equip my other acorn. Well, it's actually a P acorn right here. Oh, we really made use of every acorn in this round, that's for sure. Worked out pretty well, though. I never, like, went really out of my way for any backups, though. Oh, maybe a little bit in the early game. Also, you can do this level without acorn, it's not that much slower. That might have actually been faster, but I was small Luigi, so I didn't want to risk dying.
You made it.
Alright, and we're into our final level of the run, where we can hopefully complete our last two objectives, which is to complete all the star coins in World 9 and to complete every exit. We got 1 exit left and 3 star coins left. And we should get a little message here to confirm we've gotten everything so far, and we have. So when you hold ZL to enter this level, you actually don't enter it as Nabbit. For whatever reason, well, not for whatever reason, you actually enter it as your Mii, because if you entered this level as Nabbit, I don't think it's even possible to complete it. And the interesting thing is that playing as your Mii saves 1 frame on the flagpole animation at the end of the run, so I do it as the Mii. So for that juicy time save. And this level actually shows off a very interesting property that isn't super applicable everywhere else, but if you don't move to the left or right as you're descending, you descend faster as you're gliding. But if you move to the left or right, it slows your descent, which is really cool. And then, you could just, if you want to descend faster, just stop moving to the left or right. Yeah, that's our last star coin. We're almost done with the run. Just gonna try to not drop too early here. Get right in that pipe and do our final pipe kick of the run. Nice. And that's it. We have 100% of the game. Alright, so the final time ends on this final text box here that says you've completed everything in New Super Luigi U. So that will be when it is done. There we go. 219.50, just barely scraped that sub 220, but that was an awesome run, like a really awesome showcase of the game. So yeah, this is honestly my favorite category of the game. If you've watched all the way through this video, I really appreciate it. I've been putting a lot of time into learning this run, practicing all these backups and strategies, and routing everything out in such a way that it's really safe to do a no reset of. I think this went phenomenally. Despite, the final time maybe not being the best, but the run itself was great. Yeah, I would love to get a chance to show this run off at GDQ. This is my main speed game, and it's not a very popular one. I would love to give it some more exposure, especially the longer categories of it. So, yeah, thank you again if you've watched all the way through, and bye.